Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 5 here. I am Molchap, bringing you game number 5, coming at you with game number 5 of Julyzerg versus Goodfriend. And you can see on the screen there, Julyzerg has Goodfriend has a 6-2 record versus Zerg in this tournament. But those two losses have been to Julyzerg on this day. And so we're gonna see if he can pull it back. It looked like Goodfriend was gonna win the series. Julyzerg kind of barely took one of the first 3 games. Goodfriend looked solid on the other 2. Julyzerg frankly looked sloppy on 2 of his losses a little bit as well, especially the second one, game number 3. So it looked like Goodfriend was in the spot to take this series and advance to the finals. Julyzerg disagreeing with him strongly on game number 4 though. But now we are back here on game number 5 on Neo Guillotine. The game that started it all. The map that started it all. The first map of this series. So, you know, if we look back at it, Goodfriend beat Julyzerg in game number 1, if I remember correctly, on this map. And so can he repeat that success? It's a weird map. It's a weird map where you have, as the Zerg player, your natural expansion and your choke point are 2 different places. So you kind of need to build 2 different hatcheries in order to have the creep to defend. And we've seen a number of TVZ games, including the Nada games versus Go Rush, where that mattered. Where having that choke point at a weird spot where it was hard to get the creep there to defend it meant a loss. And it's kind of interesting that it's partly why the map, what's the name of that map? There's that new map where there's 2 like Overmind Chrysalises at the ramp, and there's like the low ground expansion. It's a modern 2020 map that we've seen in like ASL and stuff. I don't remember the name of it, sorry about that. I'm sure someone will remember and write a comment if you're interested. I'll pin it if I see someone mention the name of the map. But anyway, point being, those Chrysalises, you can build a creep colony underneath them, right? So if you need to have defense at your ramp, there's a way to build it even without making a 3rd hatchery there, which is kind of a failing of this map for Zerg players. So just kind of pointing out that, like, it's a notable problem that has been addressed in other maps to make it more balanced and fair for Zerg players. But in any case, same build. I think Goodfriend has done the exact same build every time. Maybe not on the island map, Dreams of Ballet, if I remember correctly, because that's a little bit different situation. But the 2 barracks build has worked well. It even worked well last game, actually. He almost killed Julyzerg a couple times. Julyzerg's drones turned out to be too strong, though. They're strong, independent drones. Didn't need no Zerglings to support them. And the drones did most of the work fighting off the early attack in that other one. So there's that 3rd hatchery there, not really being significantly delayed. Interestingly, that SCV went in to scout rather than to harass that expansion. So I mean, that's kind of that's how we saw Nada win this game number 5 on this map, was harassing the expansion, or harassing the choke point hatchery, and Goodfriend opting not to do that. Although again, I actually don't know if these games were played before or after the Nada game, so it's possible that he actually couldn't have watched those Nada games before then. Maybe Nada even have watched these games and learned from them. I'm not sure. But they were on different days. But I'm doing this a little bit out of order. Marines hunting for overlords in the corners there, seeing if they can get some free kills on some scouting overlords. Julyzerg making a lot of Zerglings. Whoa, that is a lot of Zerglings, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, it's possible, it's likely he's making them because he knows, okay, well, my opponent goes 2 barracks every game. I know what his build is on this map, unless he's doing a separate build, but not as likely. He knows he needs those Zerglings for defense, so he's actually made a ton of Zerglings, rather than, try and wait for sunken colonies. He's going to poke in here. He sees that. Is he going to go for an attack? He is going to go for an attack. This is a little bit bad, I think, but he does break through. He's forcing those Marines back. They have medics now to help them out, but he's killing off several Marines. He's targeting them down, and all the Zerglings die. Ugh. I don't know if that was the best move. He killed, what, 6 Marines? He lost 12, 14 Zerglings. I guess it's about even. But also, crucially, I mean, he put pressure on Goodfriend. Goodfriend is actually, he doesn't care. He's like, I've got my 2 medics, I've gotten my 2 firebats, I'm pushing across the map. Even making more firebats, a 3rd firebat and another medic, knowing that if he can kill off those Zerglings, that's it. But if Julyzerg makes a bunch of sunken colonies right now instead of Zerglings, he can defend this. I know Zergs hate making sunken colonies, because those are drones that you can't use for mining. But, Goodfriend is still pushing across the map. Again, his stim timing is probably coming up very soon. There's the stim. He's going to stim in. There's only 2 sunken colonies. He's going to try and run by. He does get a run by. There's only a handful of Zerglings, but there's one firebat there. Actually, there's more Zerglings popping out now. Can that one firebat do enough? The medics are on top of it. They're like healing up that firebat, making sure the firebat is nice and healthy, because that firebat is crucial to the defense right now. He's going to stim in again to try and go after these drones. The drones run away, and there's Zerglings coming in from behind. The firebat gets at a good spot, is able to push back the Zerglings from the Marines. And he's losing too many drones, though. He needs to fall back with those drones back to his main. He does that. The sunken colony morphs. And he's now kind of playing a little bit of cat and mouse. He gets a surround on the firebat. The firebat goes down. The sunken colony had polished off the Marines. Julyzerg is going to finish up this run-by attack. And he's already back to making drones. There's a secondary attack, looks like, in the making for Goodfriend, though. Looks like he's pushing up his tech as well. Getting the upgrades, getting a factory. So he may not attack right now, since he's focusing on making those tech upgrades. Upgrades in the units he can make, as well as upgrades of the units that he already has. I actually blinked, and I don't know if I saw that. Was that a scan? Did he just scan and see? Oh, this Zergling's gonna run by. This is actually pretty cool. He's gonna get a nice scout in. This Zergling is not gonna be able to do any harassment or anything like that, but it's gonna get a nice scout in. And okay, he's actually running circles around the Marines. He actually could have escaped, I think, with that Zergling if he wanted to. But he sees everything, and that's important. He sees the factory, he sees the engineering bay, so he can kind of say, okay, well, this guy's teching a little bit. I don't have to worry about another super all-in. I don't have to worry about wraiths or anything like that. There is a starport being made, but it looks like it's probably just your standard, you know, mid-game science vessels. Yeah, and Goodfriend's just chilling at home. He's not going for any kind of attack. He's being a little bit active out on the map to make sure he can push back Zerglings, be a sort of a threat, but he's not going for an attack right now. I think he might know that he needs to play a little bit defensive. But I think he scanned that Hydralisk Den, so I think he knows that the lurkers are coming. But the Spire is down as well, actually. So it may have been a fake out where he may have actually seen the scan. And again, I don't know if he scanned it, but you know, he's a good player, so he probably has scanned to see what the tech is. You need to do some scouting, right? Oh, that Overlord feels the threat. His ganglia are tingling. And he's, the Overlord makes it away. Anyway, we do have, the threat, in fact, the threat to Goodfriend coming down the map. He's got a handful of Zerglings. He's got a Lurker and some Zerglings that are kind of bouncing off each other there. Not great that happened. Actually, I don't know if he's going for an attack as much as he just wants to, again, be out on the map. If you just... Oh, is this a trap? Oh, it's a trap, ladies and gentlemen. It's a trap. I think he might actually have those on hold position. What happened to that sunken colony? Oh, he actually ran his Zerglings back to kill the sunken colony because it was interfering with his gas mining. That's kind of fun. Look at this. He's using the science facility to get vision of the upper area there so he can attack the Overlord. Oh, what is going on? He actually has like 5 SCVs on that gas. A little bit of a mistake there, actually, by Goodfriend. Maybe it's just 4. No, I think that's 5. 4 or 5. Either way, he's got extra SCVs on that gas, which is a little bit of a mistake. But Julyzerg has laid this trap in the middle. It could be that they're not on hold. It could be that they're just there just as a stopgap to say, okay, if you're pushing across the map, you need to wait. Okay, it is just as... Okay, they're not on hold position, unfortunately. That would have been a fun little trap there. But it does mean that he's forced to stop and wait for science vessels. In the meantime, Julyzerg getting his 3rd base, which is going to be his 3rd gas, and getting more lurkers and more zerglings. So this is kind of what he wants. He wants to delay things. He wants to delay this push with the tanks. Now he's seen the Spire as well, or maybe he's just aware that the Spire could be happening. So he's actually putting up turrets too. Looks like Julyzerg is not making Mutalisks though. But the Spire is good just in general in the mid game, even if you're not going to make a bunch of Mutalisks. You know, you want Scourge. You want to be able to have the threat of Scourge against the Science Vessel. And this Overlord's like, okay, what's going on in here? Let's check it out. And Julyzerg he's got Overlords all over Goodfriend's base, so he knows that there's only one base. This is a 1 base push, and this is basically kind of an all-in actually, because if he doesn't do some damage with this push, then you know, what is he got to work off of? His main's gonna be mining out soon. If a Goodfriend doesn't accomplish something with this push, then he's just going to have such a poor economy. Julyzerg is going to overrun him, because that's what Julyzerg does. If you let Julyzerg have 4 bases, he will overrun you. He will overrun you, right? It could be, you know, Julyzerg is taking his driver's test to get his driver's license, and he doesn't care. If he's got 4 bases, he'll just overrun people. He doesn't care if he doesn't get a license and gets a... Okay, I don't know where my metaphors have been off lately, I apologize. Anyway, or my deliverer maybe has been. Julyzerg moving into position to block this strike. He's actually going with a large attack. There's a nice choke point though. He's got tanks in the background. Zergling's coming in to soak up the damage while the lurkers do a ton of damage. He actually sneaks through some Scourge as well. And that is crucial because now he cannot keep pushing against these lurkers. If he had that vessel up, he would just move over the vessel, start killing the lurkers. The lurkers would be forced to fall back, and this push could continue across the map and push closer in to Julyzerg's base. But with losing that science vessel is a big deal because he can't really afford to use his scans just to push forward there. I think he needs to wait for another vessel, and that gives Julyzerg time to get more Zerglings and to remaneuver on the map. Looks like Goodfriend remaneuvering himself into another nice choke point. A little bit farther back, Goodfriend is in a little bit of defense now. Now, has he made a second base to follow this up? It looks like he might have actually gone into an expansion after this as well. Okay, random stim. Here we go in another swarm coming down the pipe. He's going into a choke point, but Julyzerg doesn't even care. Masses up lurkers on top of those tanks, but the tanks are doing a lot of damage, and the lurkers do die. Again, though, no vessel. No vessel means he stemmed in his Marines at the scan wore off, and you know, took extra damage that he didn't need to. Or maybe the scan didn't wear off. Maybe there was the vessel died or something. I actually missed it. If the vessel was in the background or something along those lines. But either way, his vision stopped right as he had stemmed in to finish off those lurkers. Another group of lurkers. He's got so many lurkers. He's just continually making units. He's just pushing in here farther and farther, and he's again going to be able to push on top of the tanks. And there's the Scourge coming in as well. He's going to get... No, he doesn't get the vessel this time. But it doesn't even matter. He's got so much stuff. The lurkers are able to attack the tanks. And he's going to be forced to fall back because he's not quite close enough to kill off that second tank. But this is so close, actually. Julyzerg is just powering up units. This is what he does best. Once he has his economy, he really stops trying to make more of an economy for the most part. Look at that. We saw that third base had 1 drone on minerals. That was just basically made for extra gas, right? Sometimes, you know, if you're a Zerg player and you're just making units, you end up with extra minerals because you're focusing on the gas-heavy units, and you make a hatchery just to get extra gas. It's just a way of converting minerals into gas by making another hatchery, basically. But he has Consume. He's got Dark Swarm, ladies and gentlemen. This could be curtains for Goodfriend pretty soon because Julyzerg has been winning battles just forces alone, and now with the additional swarm, Goodfriend has no choice but to fall back. He cannot hold that choke point, and he's gonna fall back, and there's only so much space you can fall back to. Although this is a very circuitous, weird map with lots of ins and outs, lots of what have yous, lots of different choke points around the sides and what have you, and that's what Goodfriend is trying to do. He's trying to maneuver around the right side of the map. He says, if you're pushing the left, I'm going to push the right. I'm going to go for your expansion. And he might be able to kill that expansion, actually. He's going in there. Is Julyzerg going to defend it? No, he's going to counterattack. He can afford to lose that. But Goodfriend cannot afford to lose his everything. Actually, it looks like Julyzerg a little bit of waffling. He's pulling his units back, actually. He's sending a few Zerglings at the front to test the waters there. But he didn't have his full force there. He wants to kill this army. My mistake, he wasn't going for the counter. He wants to kill this army. He's boxed it in. And actually, because of the position of the expansion, he's got nowhere to run. This is a great map where there's lots of places to run. But Goodfriend has put himself in a corner now. He's got nowhere to go. With a Dark Swarm on top of him, he's going to lose his entire army in this corner. There's nowhere to go. An absolute slaughter is going to occur. The Zerglings coming in from the bottom to wipe up the units that are barely able to squeeze out of the lurker fire, and it has been completely destroyed. The army has been completely destroyed. The hatchery has also been completely destroyed. That is the one silver lining for Goodfriend, is he's killed that off. He's gotten his second base up as well, by the way, which is crucial. And a nice defense against the counterattack. Julyzerg is a counterattacking player for sure. I mean, all strong Zergs are in some sense or another. You have to be, but you know, it's something you have to expect from Julyzerg. So having the extra tanks in the back, the bunkers, the science vessel waiting at your main choke point is a smart move. But you know what? It doesn't do any good if there's Dark Swarms. All Julyzerg needs to do is get that army with a couple defilers up close to that choke point. If he can put down a swarm on that choke, the bunkers will do nothing. And it looks like he knows that the swarm is a problem, so he's making a lot of fire bats, actually, which is kind of smart. You don't often see a lot of fire bats in 2020 or even 2010 play, but it makes a lot of sense in this situation. Just pure lurker-ling with Dark Swarm, fire bats are going to be super effective. And, oh, just so many spines targeting the same spot at once. Is he going to get the swarm down? He's moving it with the lurkers. He's got the defiler there. He needs to cast the swarm. He needs to cast the swarm. It actually doesn't even matter. There's just too much stuff. He's actually, I was wrong. He does not need to cast the swarm. He needs to wait and use that swarm when he's on these bunkers, and that's what he does. He gets into the choke point. The Dark Swarm goes down, and you can see the power of those tanks. That one lurker that got out from underneath the swarm died immediately, so that's why the swarm is crucial. He's only got one defiler there, and so if there's an irradiate, they can run over there and irradiate that defiler. It will stop this push, or at least slow it down, I should say. There's another Dark Swarm, though. He didn't get an irradiate down. He didn't kill that defiler, so he's able to get on top of the second bunker. It looked like, whoa, excuse me, a little burp there while I was trying to talk. It looked like Goodfriend was going to win this series. He was up 2-1. He was looking strong. Julyzerg was not playing at his top level, but Julyzerg has brought it to a tie series and now looks to be on the verge of polishing off Goodfriend. He's got Ultralisks in play. He's got decent upgrades. He doesn't have the high-level upgrades on those Ultralisks to make them immortal or anything like that. But he is pushing now into Goodfriend's expansion. It is very, very close to the end for Goodfriend. He's coming from the back, though, trying to do a pincher attack. He gets the defiler. That might buy him some time. He needs to get some more tanks out. He really needs to get more science vessels out and start irradiating these defilers. He has not been doing a good job of keeping track of the defilers. He looks like he's cleaned up most of the lurkers in his natural as well. So Goodfriend might have stabilized here. Here he's pushing in, though, with Ultralisk to soak up the damage. He's again holding on to that swarm. He's holding on to that swarm until he puts it in the choke point. There's the swarm in the choke point. There's not a lot of Zerglings left, but there's 4 high-health Ultralisks. They're pushing in. They're going to kill off the tanks. And there's still a couple supply depots there to block, but Julyzerg says, okay, well, if I can't go to the left, I'm going to go to the right. That's where your second base is. That's where your lifeline is as well. his main is probably mined out at this point. So this expansion is the main thing he has left. And the Irradiates are down on the Ultralisk, but the Ultralisk is in a supply line. The Irradiate actually doing extra damage to the SCVs. And he's forced to lift and move away all of his SCVs from that expansion base. I don't think Goodfriend is mining right now. We haven't seen his main lately, but I think he's probably mined out in his main base right now. He does polish off the Ultralisk, but he is in dire straits at this point. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Another group of Ultralisks ready to go. 2 or 3 dozen Zerglings ready to go in as well. Some Scourge to add to the mix, and a little bit of a look of exasperation. Oh, and there's the Scourge picking off his vessel, which is absolutely crucial to his defense. He's going to need to perform a miracle here in order to defend this push. 4 dozen Zerglings, almost a dozen Ultralisks. He's going to have Defilers in there as well. He's given up on the Lurkers and says, Ultras are all I need. There's Firebats, which is good for these Zerglings. Actually, he does kill off a lot of Zerglings without the swarm on top there. He does have a few Lurkers in the mix as well. Pushing in slowly and steadily. The medics are just not going to be enough. They can't not fire back. And here we go. Julyzerg doesn't even need the Dark Swarm right now. He is the Swarm. There's the GG. Julyzerg has done it. He's come back from a 2-1 deficit. Or 1-2 deficit, I guess I should say. And defeated Goodfriend to go back to the finals. Julyzerg won the OSL 2 Star Leagues ago. In the last OSL, he could not make it even into the semifinals. And now he is going to the finals again to show he is not just a one-hit wonder. He has the staying power. He has the longevity to win Star Leagues over and over again. And he's going to the finals now. He is going to be facing off against Nada, though, who is looking so strong right now. He's going to be facing Nada in the finals to see who can take another championship. And that is going to be an amazing finals, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be absolutely crazy. Julyzerg, such a strong ZVT player. But I do believe, based on the performance against Go Rush, that Nada is a bit, I think, going to be a stronger opponent than Goodfriend. I think he's going to be a stronger opponent than Goodfriend. I think it's going to be a harder challenge for Julyzerg. But if he can defeat that challenge, he will be saying, look, there's no Terran that can stop me. I beat Uv. I beat Goodfriend. If he can beat Nada as well, he will be saying there's no Terran player that's strong enough to beat me in a best of 5. And really securing his position as the Bone Draw, basically. But he's got to get through Nada first. He's got to get through Nada first, and we'll see if he's able to do so in the finals. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to do the 3rd place match in the meantime as well. So we're actually going to have another TVZ. We're going to have Goodfriend versus Go Rush in the 3rd place match. And we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the live finals. Look out soon for a video that's going to be talking about I think I'm going to do the finals as a live thing. I'm going to just go ahead and make a separate announcement about that, though, along with some other announcements about streaming, what have you. So, wow, what a great series. Julyzerg pulls it off. It didn't look like he was going to be able to. I really was thinking he was not on his game enough. He might have been even, triggered by making some missteps in game number 3 not triggered, tilted. Tilted is what I'm looking for. He might have been tilted and not able, but he brought it back, played his best game, his best StarCraft in games 4 and 5, and was able to secure the series. Wow. I am looking forward to the 3rd place match. I'm looking forward to the finals here. I'm looking forward to StarCraft. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG.